Live. Take it away, Lisa Ray.
All right.
All right. We are live. Take it away, Lisa Ray.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. And thank you for being here tonight. This is our first Facebook Live event.
Live. Take it away, Lisa Ray.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Back here, so bear with me. I think, Evan, you have to mute your end, or maybe. So my name is Lisa Ray, and I'm your host for tonight. And I'm from Whitby, Ontario. And I started with these nourishment strategies about 6 years ago. And I started because of Dr. Danielle Gillis. I was emotionally and physically exhausted at the time that I met her. And the biggest change for me has been increasing my stamina and my energy and my health. Overall health has improved greatly. But more importantly, I got my happiness back. So it's changed my life, and I'm really excited to be here as your host tonight. Overall health has improved greatly with all of you, and it's something that's was a big game changer for me in my life. So before we get started, I wanted to thank the organizers and the speakers on the event, and everyone here that's watching live, and for joining us tonight, especially anybody that's here for the first time. So welcome, everybody. As a bit of housekeeping for the panelists, your line's going to be muted until you're ready to speak, and then when you're ready to speak, you can unmute yourself. That would be great. For everyone else, please join in the chat. Please give us feedback and comments, and lots of hearts and thumbs up, and let us know what you're liking, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions, please leave them to the end of the event, where we'll be able to answer them at that point. We'd like to stay on track, so we're going to do our best to end this at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Our goal tonight is to educate you on how Isagenix can help you, and you'll learn the nourishment strategies that make up the program, and also what happens when you share Isagenix with others. We're going to start with a brief video, and then I'll introduce our first speaker.
We believe that transformations are for everyone.
Today is the day. Great video. Well, I'm excited to introduce our presenter for tonight, Dr. Evan Hill. Dr. Evan is a chiropractor by trade, and what I admire most about Dr. Evan is his tireless and selfless approach to leadership. He's a kind and patient coach and mentor, and I'm honored to have him in my circle of influence. Evan and his wife have 3 beautiful children, ages 10, 8, and 6. Isagenix has transformed his life and that of his family, so much so that he now speaks regularly in educating people about these nourishment strategies of Isagenix. In addition, as a father and a leader, he inspires others globally and inspires dads specifically to fulfill their greatness through his global dad movement. Evan is now retired from practicing as a chiropractor and has been blessing people with Isagenix and his leadership for the past 11 years now. Without any further delay, I will turn it over to Dr. Evan Hill.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa Ray. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Can you see me as well? Yeah? All right. So this is our first time broadcasting live to Facebook. So thanks for bearing with us and going through this growth period for our team and being able to provide this to all of our community and through Facebook and on Zoom. So I have the privilege tonight to talk about Isagenix. I'm extremely passionate about it. I'm extremely excited to share this with you. Before I get started in sharing that, I want to thank Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray, you're an absolute rock star. I'm so glad that you're part of our team. Thanks so much for the intro. And, I see that there's lots of people that have joined through Facebook right now, giving some hearts. Thank you very much. Doreen, Sue, awesome, Tracy, France. All right, so we're going to get started talking about the Isagenix solutions in just a sec. But first, I want to share with you my story and why I'm here today and why I'm so passionate about sharing Isagenix with you. So my journey started 11 years ago because of a patient of mine, Suzanne Hart. And Suzanne showed me a video. It was about 5 minutes long. And it was really educating me about what was going on with our food supply and how our food was so much more deficient. And also what was going on with toxicity, and that toxins were really all around us and how it was affecting people. And I had just finished 8 years of post-secondary education to become somebody who could help people as a chiropractor. And I thought, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. I think that this is something I should try and see if it could be of value to my patients. Now, I actually didn't think that it was going to be something that could help me. I thought I was doing okay. However, now that I look back, I had a lot of stuff that was going on with me that I didn't even realize had crept up over time. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but having your health changing over the years and thinking that it's age and that it's just a natural progression of life. Well, I had kind of bought into that, but I was 29 and I was napping every day. And if I wasn't napping that day, I wanted to nap. My energy was really terrible compared to my previous experience. I used to be the senior athlete of the year in high school. And here I was at 29 getting beat by a guy 10 years older than me every single time I played squash. I could not beat him, and I felt like I was going to throw up after the first game. I was stressed all the time to the point that I felt paralyzed. I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I was crashing between meals, couldn't focus properly. So the only reason I really noticed that these things were really a problem was when I actually started the program. 3 days into the program, I was following it to a T, and I woke up on day 3, and it was like my whole world was different. It was like somebody had flicked on a light switch in my body and taken a squeegee and just wiped the fog away from in front of my face. And it was like all of a sudden I felt like I was going to be okay. I was going to be able to take on life. I was going to be able to build this business with my wife from the ground up in the middle of Toronto with $250,000 in debt. I was able to be consistent throughout the day and how I felt. I wasn't crashing between meals. I didn't have to nap anymore. I started to beat that guy in squash. It blew me away. And I started to share this with my family and my friends. I could not stop talking about it. It changed my life so much. And something unexpected happened. Well, first of all, it didn't seem to matter what was going on for somebody. They were improving. So I had people with challenges with their skin, people with digestive challenges, people that were having troubles losing weight, people with inflammation throughout their body, people with sleep challenges. And all of them were improving with the help of this nutrition and these strategies. And again, that really blew me away. So, and that is when something really unexpected happened, is that the people that I shared with were sharing, and that changed my life in another way. So I didn't share this with you at the beginning, but I lost my dad at an early age. I was 17 years old, and he was 45. And I didn't have a lot of memories with him. He worked all the time. I just didn't have that many memories, and I wish I did. And I really wanted to be that dad for my kids. I wanted to be with them. And I found that working as a chiropractor, I was putting a lot of hours with another business. And what ended up happening was with Isagenix, with people sharing with people, Isagenix was rewarding me. And that continued to grow to the point that I was able to make a change in my life where I was able to leave chiropractic and come home, be a stay-at-home dad, which was my dream. And as a result of that, now I can actually help people globally with Isagenix. And I started this global dad movement, and I'm helping dads all around the world. And it's just absolutely, I love it. So I want to thank you for being here, especially the guests, the people that are learning about this for the very first time. I think that we're going to be able to provide some really great value for you. So buckle up. We're gonna go for a ride here and take some notes if you like. So we're going to get started with talking about actually, this is the first question I want to ask. I asked this to a dad today, and he said, wow, I've never been asked that before. So if you could visualize your life in 2 years from now, what would you have to change to get there? And I am watching the feed here in the Facebook group. So you're welcome to write in there or in the chat on the Zoom. So what I want people to do is think about where they would want to be 2 years from now. How would you want to be with your health? Okay, would you want to be more productive? Do you want to be less stressed? Do you want to have a change in your body composition? You want to fit in different clothing? Do you want to get the swagger back? Do you want to have more energy available for your family? Do you want to be more free, have more time, be able to travel more? So I want you to think about those things. I really want you to imagine yourself a couple of years from now, how you look and feel, what's your situation. And, you know, I've heard this saying that the universe is abundant, and we can ask for something small or ask for something big. The universe wants to give us both. It takes the same amount of energy to ask for it as well. So I'm giving you the opportunity to dream a little bit here. Okay, you've got something? Awesome. Travel more, healthy, strong, more muscular, still competing, time freedom. Love it. Thanks, guys. Okay, so we're going to get started talking about Isagenix. This program here is called the Value Pack. The reason I'm talking about the Value Pack is because it has 4 strategies, nourishment strategies built into one system. This is extremely unique in the marketplace. I like this saying in chiropractic, that is, give the body what it needs, take that away which it doesn't need, and the body is the miracle. The body needs no help in healing, it just needs no interference. And we all know that lacking nutrition is an interference in you being your best. Being toxic is an interference. Being stressed all the time is an interference. And having an abundance of free radicals in your system that are aging your cells, that's an interference as well. Isagenix has strategically found nourishment strategies that deal with all those challenges that are affecting people globally. And I'm going to educate you on what it is that they know and what they created to put in place in this system that can help you change your life. So the 4 areas of strategies are nourishment, detoxify, balance, and protect. And as I go through these, I'm going to be flipping through the slides. I'm going to try to do it at a steady cadence. Sometimes I don't do it at a steady cadence. So if I get stuck on one, just give me a nudge next slide in the chat. If you could do that, it'd be awesome. I'm actually able to see the Facebook chat, but not the one on the webinar. So I will get better at this, I promise. But we're going to get started with going through some of the transformations. A lot of these are within the ISA support community itself. So you're going to see people that are in our community. Tracy's in there, Simone, Ron. We're going to hear some speakers. But as I'm speaking and educating you, you're going to see some of the tens of thousands of transformations. So I'm going to talk about the first strategy, and that's nourishment. So really, the challenge that's happening around us is that farmers have changed the way they grow food. And for an increase in quantity, they have sacrificed quality. So the foods in the grocery store looks great, and we would expect it to have all the nutrition in it. The reality is it's very different than it used to be. And that's a result of things like spraying of fields with pesticides and herbicides and larvicides, not rotating crops anymore, the distance foods traveling, radiation that they do at foods at the border, these sorts of things. These are all changing the way, the amount of nutrition that is in food. So what do you suppose happens when we're eating food? And actually there's the food we get from our grocery store, which has changed in its quality. And then there's foods that we buy out of convenience. And those foods, I'm going to suggest most of them are even more nutritionally deficient. So when we go out and grab fast food, those foods are usually even more deficient than the foods that are at the grocery store. So those are the two sources of food that most people are eating. What do you suppose happens to people when they're lacking nutrition? What is one of the main things that happens? And it's a big reason why people are lining up at places like Starbucks and Tim Hortons. What do you think the reason? What do you think's happening? Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. Energy. People are having troubles with energy. It's everywhere. You see people lining up and actually being late for work so they can get their morning fix, their morning pep of Tim Hortons or whatever it may be. Tim Hortons is a Canadian brand in case you're from the US or Australia. So that's the challenge, is that they're lacking energy and they're pushing themselves throughout the day with stimulants like caffeine. So they're having 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 cups of coffee a day. Or they're using sugar throughout the day, okay? And so what this does is it manipulates the system, and eventually that person is going to crash and burn, okay? They're gonna get sick, they're gonna have a shift in their health, and they're not gonna be able to maintain that pace, and they will become a burden to somebody else in their life, and they're gonna have to take care of them. That's just, that ends up what's happening, okay? The other thing that happens when we're lacking nutrition is something called cravings, which I would imagine most people on this call have either experienced or know somebody that has cravings. I know I had cravings. I had cravings for carbohydrates. So here's the thing. The reason that so many people have cravings and they're not able to control them is because cravings is a sign that we're missing a specific piece of nutrition. Okay, so it could be one thing that we're deficient in. Okay, that sets off a cascade of events, and one of those things that's going to happen is we're going to get a craving. And what ends up happening is that we start to eat food, and usually those foods aren't the foods that are going to take care of the craving. It's not going to necessarily have that nutrient in it because most people are grabbing comfort foods. They're grabbing those tasty, salty, sweet things to try to satisfy a craving, and then never will. So this causes overeating, people's waistlines getting bigger, and it actually adds to some of the stress of the body. So when we look statistically what's happening in North America, 70% of people are now overweight. So this is a huge problem that's happening across North America, and it's happening across the globe. So number one is nourishment. So Isagenix, what they did was they said, okay, people need something that's convenient, clearly. They need something that's complete, has all the nutrition in it. They need something that's affordable, and they need something that tastes great, that they can fit into their lifestyle that travels well. That's a big bill to fill. So what they did was they took the best protein in the world from New Zealand, grass-fed protein. They took low glycemic carbohydrates, so people that have blood sugar challenges would be okay. They took healthy fats, because we need healthy fats to have healthy cells. They took enzymes so people could digest it if they had a problem with their digestive system. They added prebiotics to help with the healthy gut flora in our body. Okay. And then they added the trace minerals that are like the spark plugs in our body, and a big reason why people have cravings. And they put this all together in what we call a perfect meal, called the Isagenix shake, which was part of the value pack that I showed you at the beginning. And when someone's doing this 30-day reset or this 30-day body composition program where they're decreasing fat and increasing muscle, what they're doing is they're replacing 2 meals a day, 2 of their least perfect meals, usually breakfast and lunch, with the perfect meal. And then they're they are responsible for a healthy meal a day. Thank you. Love it. Thanks, Lisa Ray. She held up a sign called Slide. Appreciate that. So in the program, when you get started on your reset, you're going to take 2 of those perfect meals a day, flood your body with nutrition, and your 3rd meal a day, you're given guidance. It's a standard meal that you would expect to be healthy. And you do that for 6 days straight. And then you go into day 7, which is when we bring in the detoxification strategy. So how does the detoxification strategy work, and why do we do it? So the big reason we do it is because companies are using toxins, chemicals in our products. So we would call them chemicals in the products, but in our body, they're toxins. They're not only in our products, but they're in our food. Okay, they're spraying it on our food intentionally. They're putting it in our mattresses. Okay, they're putting it on our kids' clothing. It's in our air. It's in our water. Now, I didn't know this before, but our body's detox capacity is dependent on nutrition, which I find very interesting because most people aren't eating well. So not only are we at a place in time right now where there's more toxicity, but people are eating more poorly. So that's not a good situation, because then the liver can't get the toxins out. But what does it do with them? What does it do with those toxins? Who's this guy here? So what the liver does is, when it can't get those toxins out, the fat-soluble toxins, is it wraps it with fat and water and stores it in our body. So we become toxic harboring people. We're walking around with toxins. You could Google this and research it. The research is out there showing that this is what's happening. Okay, and we're talking not dozens, hundreds of toxins that are accumulating in people's bodies. So why does that matter? It matters a lot because toxins affect every system of our body. They're linked to almost every disease there is. Okay, so they affect the way our brain's able to communicate with our body. It affects things that are cell membrane, so our cell membrane can't transfer information properly. Okay, so we aren't able to be as efficient. It affects our hormones. So toxins can actually mimic hormones, and this is not good when males or females have higher levels of estrogen. It affects inflammation. So what ends up happening is the immune system attacks those toxins, and we have an inflammatory response. So people that have challenges like arthritis or other types of inflammation type diseases, toxins can play a huge role in amplifying the inflammation in our body. And lastly, it's causing obesity, which is a huge, huge problem. So toxins have no place in our body. If someone wants to be their best, if somebody wants to improve their energy, they want to improve their body composition, cleansing makes a lot of sense. So how did Isagenix put it together? Well, they did it in a way that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's very different than any other program that I know of, in that what they said is, like, we are going to nourish your body first. We're going to build up the nourishment, help you eliminate some of those things that may be actually adding to your toxic load. So through 6 days, we're going to do that. And then on day 7, we're going to cleanse your body, but we're going to nourish it. So what we do is we actually put your body in a state where you're actually not eating solid food, but you're nourishing it throughout the day steadily. So you're able to function like a normal person. You're not tied to the toilet. It's not like that. It's gentle. And you're nourishing your body through the system, so you're through the day, so your liver has what it needs to do its job. And at the same time, you're burning fat and you're elevating your growth hormone and reducing cortisol, and that further encourages fat burning, and it also helps with your insulin sensitivity as well when you cleanse. For somebody who has blood sugar challenges, that's huge. When you reset your insulin sensitivity, now all of a sudden the way your body's responding to sugar is different. So some really amazing things happen. We're going to actually hear a testimonial shortly from someone who had that happen. So we talked about 2 strategies. First one was nourishment. Second one was detox. The third one that Isagenix very strategically put in here, and very importantly put in here, is balancing your body. So why is this important, balancing? Well, most people out there, I would be safe to say, are stressed. And stress, as we know, if we're chronically stressed, is going to move ourselves away from health. Okay, either somebody's going to be amplified or depressed. They're not going to be in a state of balance. Okay, and for somebody who wants to improve their body composition, well, they're not going to be able to sustain changes. they'll go back to where they were if they're continuously stressed. And we know that people can't just take 6 months vacation, and people can't just fire their boss. So what do? How do we live a life where our body's in a balanced state and we're able to be our best in the stresses that we have? And that's when Isagenix came in and they said, what we're going to do is we're going to actually source these plants called adaptogens. And adaptogens are plants that grow in very harsh conditions around the world, like the Himalayas. And what those plants are, what's unique about those plants is that they have adaptogenic properties in that they can adapt to their environment. The cool thing is though, when we eat these plants, guess what? We get those adaptogenic properties. So how does this show up in our life? Busy people's lives? Is that we have the same busyness going on, but we're able to handle it at a whole different level. We're much more relaxed when we're out in our day and doing our thing. So either we're more relaxed doing what we're doing, or we're able to actually produce more. And for athletes, that's great because they can recover faster, they have less impact of stress from working out, and they can demand more and train again. So athletes, it's amazing. For a busy mom and dad, it's amazing too, because it's like they're professional athletes too. They're going all day long. Same idea. And so in the program, what Isagenix said is like every day you're going to take the adaptogens in the morning, first thing, and set your body up properly. And what it does is reset the cortisol curve the way it's supposed to be, so your body comes into balance. So when your body's in this nice state and it's getting a flood of nourishment and it's doing the healing process of cleansing, it all works together. So I talked about 3 strategies so far. Now we're on number 4, and that's protection. It's not the type of protection you're thinking. All right, so what is the protection I'm talking about? So have you ever noticed that some people that are 40, they look 25? And have you ever noticed some people that are 40 look like they're 60? What's the difference between them? There's obvious things like, you know, some people stress their bodies more than others because maybe they were smoking, okay? Or maybe they didn't eat well for a very long time. But what's happening inside of them as a result of these stresses is what ages us. And so what ends up happening is we have free radicals that cause our cells to die and turn over faster. And so what Isagenix did is they said, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to protect the cells from that damage. So they created a supplement system. It's very convenient. You take an AM pack and a PM pack. You just open it up, and it's all done for you. It's got your vitamin D and your omegas and a vitamin C and multivitamin and a very powerful antioxidant combination. And this is where the secret sauce is, in the antioxidant combination that protects your cells. But they went one step further. And this step is a huge step. This is Nobel Prize winning research step. This is cutting edge world stuff. If that's even a word, if that's even a thing, world stuff, but we'll just go with it. World-class research, that's what I'm going to say. So what it is, it's a product called Product B. Well, they call it Isagenesis now. What it does is actually protects your telomeres. The telomeres are on the end of your chromosome, and what it does is, well, as we age our bodies and stress our cells, those telomeres shorten. As they shorten, we age. So we want to keep the telomeres long, and this Isagenesis supports our telomere health. And that's the 4th strategy, which is all part of the value pack. Now, do you have to go with the value pack necessarily? No, you don't have to. There's other systems available, and when you are completed this webinar, you can get in touch with the person that brought you here, and you can talk about, you know, what your goals are and what it is that is the best fit for you and your budget. So we're going to go over in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about what is the investment with this program. How am I supported in this program? What can I expect from this program? But first, what we're going to do is we're going to hear from a couple of our members from our page, our support group. And as I said, we are new to the technology, so I'm going to take a moment and see if I can figure out how to unmute Ron, and Ron's going to share his story, and I have been successful. So Ron, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, Ron, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Evan. Okay, let me start my story. My story goes back, I guess I can start about a year and a half ago. I was overweight, I was out of shape, I was tired, I was stressed, and I had some other health concerns as well. Then about 16 months ago from now, my first grandson, River, was born, and he turned out to be the why in my life. Now, I grew up without grandparents. My parents are survivors of the Holocaust, and I don't know what it's like to have grandparents. So when I had my first grandson, I decided that I wanted to be the best grandparent that I could be and that he could have. I wanted to be an active participant in his life. So I knew a little about Isagenix from Sue Sanders, who was in a group that I belonged to, who I trusted, and I was finally ready to make a change in my life. So I ordered the program, and I'm glad I did. So fast forward to today, I'm now 40 pounds lighter, a lot more muscle, a lot more energy. My glucose levels have returned to normal, as well as my cardiovascular function has increased tremendously. And I went from someone who didn't work out maybe once a week to now working out about 6 to 7 days a week. And I miss it if I don't do it. So I was so happy with the system that I use it as a tool in my chiropractic practice now to help others reach their health goals as well. And that little guy in the picture, that's my River.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, River is blessed to have you as a granddad, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, you inspire me every day, buddy. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to mute you here. All right, and we're going to switch over now to Hannah. And Hannah hails from Australia. That's what I love about technology. We've got Hannah all the way from Australia to share with us. Hannah, are you there?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Hannah.
Hi. Thanks, Evan. Well, how exciting. 18 months ago, I was an exhausted mum and wife. I was cranky, and I wasn't the nicest wife that I could be. And I thought, I don't want to look back on my life and remember just being a grump and tired. I had headaches, my body was stiff, I had no motivation to do anything. I was just flat out looking after my family. My amazing Canadian buddy from my ski days over in Whistler, Trevor Stevenson, I hadn't spoken to him for about 20 years, and he called me. He said, babe, I've got to tell you, there's something you need to know about in this world. I was curious. I was desperate to try anything and feel better and be in love with life again. So sure enough, started putting the products into my body within days. I was leaping out of bed, guys. I'm not joking. I was so excited about how I felt. My eyes were awake. I didn't reach for coffee. I wasn't feeling like a glass of wine anymore because my energy was back. I was feeling fantastic. My whole family have suffered from what was happening before. The family suffered. Now we are a fit, healthy, people in the family don't really get sick very often at all in the last 18 months. Now, all this nutrition and all this feeling good has boosted my confidence, which I think, the emotional, the feelings that come with how you look is what I'm really enjoying sharing with my friends as well.
Wow.
So thank you, guys. And I love this team. Everyone just lifts me up to feel the way you should feel in life. I love it. Mwah. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Hannah. Woo. That was the first time I've heard you share your story, Hannah. Wow. Thank you so much.
I feel much better.
So happy. Awesome. Okay, so let's continue on and get some of these questions answered that we have to answer here. So now you hear this all the time, and Hannah actually alluded to this just now, and that is that when people do the program, they feel all this energy. And I talked about this at the beginning, how how people experience more energy right away because they're getting the right nourishment. And so Isagenix identified that when people get going on the program, they often start wanting to exercise more. They want to take their fitness levels to the next level, or even just start exercising for the first time in a long time. So they thought, you know what, we're going to create some strategies to help support people around nourishment with exercise. Because if we up the level of exercise or start adding in exercise and we don't increase our nourishment, well, that's not good either. So they created these different products to help people, and they created this incredible video, and I think the energy of it's amazing. I love sharing it because it really gives a great impression of where everyone can take their fitness level. Maybe not the high kick at the beginning, but somewhere close to it. So we're going to show that video. Here we go. All right. So, science of Isagenix. Now, they take their science very seriously, and you can see here that they actually have done 7 peer-reviewed journals. And that's really unheard of as a nutrition company to do that. It's very expensive to do third-party research like this, and it's also risky because what if it doesn't go so well? And so Isagenix, they took some big risks. So I'm gonna share with you one of them, and they did a 12-month study. So get this, they compared people eating a healthy grocery store food diet, so there's no more fast food, none of that, all from the grocery store, and they compared that to eating grocery store food with the strategies of Isagenix that I just shared with you. And what they found is that people that were using grocery store food with the strategies of Isagenix, those people had 4 times more fat loss, 4 times more increase in their lean muscle mass, 2 times of an increase in their metabolism, and 3 times more toxins released. So I share this a lot. I say, you know what? I really believe that our food supply is like an iPhone 3. The food supply plus Isagenix is like iPhone 7. It's like a massive upgrade. And this is what you see when you do the upgrade. The results that Hannah is sharing and like Ron is sharing, that's the upgrade. And it's not much fun to downgrade after you upgrade either. Okay. So how am I supported when I get started? And I know I'm going a little bit over time here, so if anyone feels like they need to jump off, feel free. But I'm going to be delivering some really important information over the next 7 minutes. So if you can, bear with me. And I'll plow through this really quick so you get that content and get the value. So how am I supported? Well, you are not going to be left to your own devices. You are going to be supported one-on-one, and you're going to be plugged into our Facebook community, which is over 2,000 people either learning about Isagenix or on the journey of making their best better. So you are now plugging into an environment of people that are like Hannah, like Ron, like Lisa Ray, that have that energy and excitement about life. You're going to be shown or given options and worked with us to figuring out what is the right system for you. So here's 3 of the top options that people go with. You'll be helped with ordering the program and ordering it with the best investment possible, because there is ways to go and spend more money on it rather than getting the best investment. So the person will help you with that. You're going to be helped with your program preparation. So before you even start your program, there's going to be a check-in to make sure that you totally know what you're doing, and that you know what you're doing before your first cleanse day and what you're going to be doing. And day 25 is your check-in to make sure that you're set the way you want to be set up moving forward. You'll also be educated about the IsaBody Challenge and the Healthy Mind and Body. And real quick, the IsaBody Challenge is a 4-month program that you can plug into. You take your before photos, you commit to yourself for 4 months, and when you complete that, you do your after your 4-month photos, and Isagenix will actually give you $200 in product credit. Now you could do that 3 times a year and get $600 in free product each year for advancing your health. Now, if that doesn't show that the company is committed to you improving your health, I don't know what does. It's a really, really strong message that Isagenix is committed to changing people's lives. Then the Healthy Mind and Body program is another program that you can plug into, which is 60 days of helping you generate a healthy mindset habits around this new body of yours, or to help you continue to move forward in your body. So it's for people that have disempowering thoughts or messages that continue to come up, and this helps you to recreate your life and create sustainable change. So what's the investment, what's the risk, and what's the expectation? So first of all, most people can actually do this program and either save money or break even. I ask people all the time, how much do they spend on breakfast and lunch? Now, I find most people purchase 1 meal a day, and some people pick up a coffee and their snacks and that sort of thing. And when they end up adding in their supplements, if they add in supplements, the people are around between $15 and $23, $25 a day. So $15 and $25 a day. So for someone who's spending in that average, let's say it's $20 a day is the average, that person could do the value pack for almost that same investment. So the value pack is $23 a day, all in at your door with all those strategies. Now, if the person is more towards the, say, $15 a day average, they could do the base pack, which is all 3 strategies. Doesn't have the 4th one though, which is protection. Okay, so it has 3 out of the 4. So they could do that and actually save a little bit of money every single day. Or there's the ultimate pack, which is for a couple or for a family to enjoy all 4 strategies plus 5 other strategies incorporated into that. And that works out to be $20 a day per person. So, oh, I forgot to say something. The 30-day money back guarantee. This is super important. So you can actually use the Isagenix system for 30 days. And if you aren't completely happy at the end of 30 days, Isagenix would give your money back. Now think about this for a second. I don't know anything in the health industry. Like as a chiropractor, I could definitely not give a 30-day money back guarantee because I couldn't guarantee results. And it just shows that Isagenix knows what they have. So it's like the equivalent of you going into a grocery store, your favorite grocery store, say it's Whole Foods or Sobeys, loading up your grocery cart for 30 days of food, eating them, and then walking it up to the manager and saying, you know what, I'm not happy with my results. I just don't like the way I feel. I want my money back. And the manager is going to laugh at you and say, there's no way you're going to get your money back. Thanks very much, though. And that's it. But Isagenix would. Isagenix would give you your money back. So there is no risk in you investing the money and take your health to the next level. So what can you expect in the first 14 days? This is important. The first 4 to 5 days, you may not be feeling totally amazing. So in any change in life, and in any change really, when we're growing, changing, it can be uncomfortable. So you may not feel amazing. You might feel actually not great, okay? And that's normal. You're going through changes. You're improving your nutrition. Your body is going to start using that and helping your body heal. And that can actually feel like your energy's gone down a little bit at the beginning, okay? Or you're breaking habits, unhealthy habits. That can sometimes not feel great as well. But somewhere around day 5, you're going to wake up and it's like things are different. You're going to feel like you just had a sound sleep. You feel more relaxed. You feel like the weight of the world is not on your shoulders anymore. You You've got a little bit more patience with the family. You're not like gobbling down sugar and caffeine to get through the day. You feel better towards the end of the day. And then somewhere around day 10, you're really noticing that your energy continues to pick up. You might have actually dropped some habits completely off. Your spouse might be saying, what is this you're doing? Keep going. We'll sacrifice cable for this. You might be looking at the canister of shake and saying, oh my gosh, this is empty. I need to keep going on this. Those people on that webinar are not crazy. Those sorts of things. You might even send a message or a phone call to the person for thinking that they were full of it. And by day 14, without even opening your mouth, someone is going to ask you what you're doing. And this is where we ask people to share. Isagenix does not spend any money on advertising. All of what they do is they reward their customers with very generous referral bonuses for sharing. So for example, for somebody that, let's say a couple of friends of yours says, like, what is going on? What's going on with Hannah? And Hannah's like, you know what, I'm doing this program, I feel amazing. You jump on this webinar. And they both jump on the webinar and they both want to get started right away with the value pack. They are going to reward Hannah with $420 for those first 2 people that she shares with. Okay, so it's very generous. Now that can turn into something more. And some of you alluded to where you want to be in 2 years from now. There was some financial considerations in there, like more freedom, more travel, these sorts of things. So this is an option for you. As I shared with you at the beginning, this is something that just evolved for me. Okay, I didn't, when I started in Isagenix, network marketing was actually a bad word. I didn't want to use it. But it's turned into a powerful vehicle for me to create freedom in my life. And it's something that other people can do as well if they choose to. And how it works is basically you share with people and Isagenix will reward you. And if they share and those people share and so on and so on, it's just like if you shared your favorite grocery store and then that friend shared with her friend and that person shared with her friend, and you made this, and that grocery store rewarded you with a say 6% back on all of their purchases, every single person. That's what Isagenix is. Okay, so and it can go global. So from your cell phone, you could share with a friend over in Australia who ends up sharing with a bunch of people, and you have a global business from your phone that could be growing in conjunction with your current income at the same time. And what's great about it is that you're supported, you're part of a team, people want to help you, and you're not left alone, and you can grow a very significant income. You could choose to be one of the top 100 people here that you see making multiple 6 figures. That's possible. So where does the integrity of Isagenix come from? It comes from the founder, the founders, most importantly, John Anderson, the formulator. Isagenix built on products. It wasn't a bunch of suits got together and said, how are we going to make money here? What happened was the product came first. John actually created the product almost by accident. He had a health challenge. He went into the lab, created the program, and discovered he really had something here. This is after he had retired, generated 2,300 products for over 600 companies. So he had done that, retired, third wealthiest man in Arizona, and then had this experience where he developed his product to help his own health, and he's like, wait, I got something here. He approached Jim and Kathy to help get this product out to the world. But he did it differently. He didn't want to lose control of the ingredients. He wanted it to be no compromise. He could call all the shots. Unlike all the private labels that he had worked for in the past that would change his formulations to make more money. He said, I want to come out with a high-end product that's world-class, that changes people's lives. And Jim and Kathy were the brains around the plan of word of mouth and getting it out there. And as a result, they're now approaching $1 billion in sales. And this is really to show you how big this is. This is like a mom and pop shop company that is changing the world. And their vision is to impact world health and free people from physical and financial pain. And in the process, create the largest health and wellness company in the world. And the reality is they are positioned to do that. And I'm so excited to be a part of it. So I'm going to end with this last slide. Give yourself massive, unreasonable goals that freak you out a little. You're capable of more than you know. So I have the pleasure of bringing back Lisa Ray, and you're currently muted. Now you're not. Lisa Ray, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Evan. That was amazing. So informative. There's so much more information to share, but we've got such little time, but you did an excellent job summing it up for us. So thank you very much. And thank you to Ron and Hannah for those very powerful testimonials. Those were unbelievable. And for everybody with their feedback and the hearts and thumbs ups and the comments, that was great. If there's any questions, now's the time to throw that in the comment section on Facebook, if you can do that. And while you're typing comments, I will just let you know to remind you again that when you get set up with your program, do so with the person that invited you to the call tonight or to this webinar tonight. And we'll see if there's any questions. Yes, the science behind the products are quite amazing. Third-party tested. And okay, so if there's no other questions for tonight, please again get in touch with the person that brought you here, and we'll end the call. And thank you, team. Great job. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Ron. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.